we're getting started, we want to get a chance for you all to ask questions if you have them. So why don't you, to show us how it's done here, go into the questions area and tell us where you're coming in from today, whether you're a blogger or a company. If you're a company, you might even mention who you're coming in with. And then let's see. Okay, people should be seeing my screen now, and we'll get started. Did we get a chance for people to tell us where they're coming in from? Excellent. Travel bloggers, Hamburg marketing, Barcelona blogger, Australia, excellent. Blogger from Los Angeles, JITT. Excellent. We have a good cross-section here. We're going to get started. We are recording this for the people who are late, but you know, hey, they are late. So let's get going here. Let me just open up a couple of things. So what we're talking about today is speed networking, and we're talking about speed networking specifically for the next TBEX event, which is coming up here in Stockholm, July 14th, 15th, and 16th. There will be 2 speed networking sessions, and those will be on the 15th and 16th, and they'll be running at 3:40 to 5:40 p.m. Just in case you haven't participated yet, let me tell you that a speed networking event is going to be a chance to sit down with companies. I'm going to log out here of 2 different things while I'm talking. It's going to be a chance to sit down with different companies on one side of the table, bloggers on the other side of the table, and to chat for 8 minutes and then run like crazy for 2 minutes over to the next appointment. So we're going to talk about what you're going to do during those events. We're going to talk about how to set up your profile to get ready for those events, and we're going to talk about some other things in terms of how a company gets set up and how you look for bloggers. We're going to show you both ends. So we do this together. So we've got bloggers on the line and we've got companies on the line, and so we're going to talk about both pieces at the same time. Carrie, you're watching the questions. You'll let me know if questions come in?
Yes, I will.
Excellent, excellent. So first of all, when you go use speed networking, what you're really going to be going is you're going to go to tbex.bloggerbridge.com. You may notice if you look at my URL that it is not tbex.bloggerbridge.com because we are not yet ready. If you go into tbex.bloggerbridge.com, we have not turned on speed networking yet. We still need to load the company profiles in for this event. We've loaded in the first batch of bloggers, so we're ready with that. We'll load in the companies here over the next couple of days, and then we'll open up for speed networking. But I'm on a test server where we are already open. I'm going to open 2 different browsers. One browser is me as a blogger, and then the other browser is me as a company. And then one thing you should notice, when you get to tbex.bloggerbridge.com, let me log out here, you're going to see that some basic instructions, and these are really important instructions because a number of you are going to miss this. First of all, TBEX and BloggerBridge are 2 different companies. We like each other. We work well together, but that does also mean they're 2 databases. So if you register for TBEX, you will not immediately be registered for BloggerBridge. We do a dump of the database periodically. As we go along here, we'll probably be doing a dump database every week, and then when we get closer to the event during that last week, we'll probably do it almost daily. But there will be some delay between when you register for the event and when you show up in the system. Also, we should say that your registration, you should just wait for us to create your account if you don't already have a BloggerBridge account. And the one thing to be careful of is use the same email to log in as you registered for TBEX. You will have, BloggerBridge works by emails, and it is certainly possible and will happen that people have multiple emails in the system. We try and delete those because we don't want to have duplicate information in there. And then again, we will not send you a password, so if you're a first-time user of BloggerBridge, first-time attendee at TBEX, just click the forgot password link up here in the login, and we will send you an email in terms of how to set your password. So I know you didn't really forget it, but the very first time you're going to click forgot password. So here I'm going to log in as a company. I'm logging in as the company BloggerBridge. Oh, I'm not attending the event. Sorry, hang on a second here. Since I'm not doing this with the real account, I have to go do something quickly. This is actually, just for those of you who are scoring at home, this is how we set up someone for the BloggerBridge account. I find them, I say that they're attending the event, and they're a pro user, and then they're ready to go. All right, and then I already set up the company, so we should be good to go. So this is a company profile, and this is a blogger profile. Bloggers, you will log into your profile page. Let's talk about what's on a blogger profile page first, because this is something that companies will be using to evaluate bloggers. And so bloggers, let's talk about how you can set one up and set it up well. When the company goes to your page, the first thing they will see is your bio. So you want to put a bio. And the thing you want to put here is the kind of thing that you want to tell people as you're doing that 8-minute speed networking. You're not going to get all 8 minutes, of course, so think about having a pitch, an elevator pitch, something that you can something you can tell people between the second and third floor of an elevator is an elevator pitch, and so something you can say in 60 seconds or less that says who you are and why you're different. So for instance, if you won any awards, put those in. If you are particularly unique in some area, put that in here. But this is your bio, and it's your very first introduction. And we won't fill this out for you, so put information in your bio. The way you're going to change that is you're going to go down here. If you're the blogger, sorry, I got to get the right. I'm going to update my profile, and that's going to give me a chance to update my bio. I can also put in an address here, but that's not going to show up for speed networking. Put in your country, your gender, your birth year, all of that information. And then the other thing you can do, or as long as we're up here, also you can put in what kind of things you're looking for, what kind of things you're not looking for. And so this is your products page. It's right next to your bio. Do you accept guest posts? Do you accept pitches for partnership opportunities? All of those sorts of things you can put in your profile. Okay, so I'm going to go back here to my profile. The other things that we can see is my social media. And so if I go to my social media page, you'll notice, companies, that this pauses a bit here as it's going to get this. What it's doing is we will never show you the social media page with numbers that are stale for more than a week. And so since I hadn't been to this page, especially on my test server, in more than a week, it just went and it updated all of these numbers for my Twitter followers, my Facebook followers. Facebook followers, we only track numbers for pages, not for profiles. You could put in your Facebook profile, and we will link to it, but Facebook does not report the number of followers you have on your profile, and so we don't report it. The number one mistake we probably get is people put in a Facebook page as a profile, and therefore we don't show the numbers. So if you are looking at your Facebook stats and you're wondering why we don't have numbers there, and it is a page, double check you entered it as a Facebook page, and we'll show the number of likes there. We track the numbers specifically for Facebook pages, Google+, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter and YouTube. With YouTube, we track both the subscribers and the total number of views you have ever gotten to any of your videos. With Twitter, we track the number of followers, how many people you are following, how many tweets you've made, and then also your clout score. And for those who are not familiar with clout.com, it does an estimate of how much people are actually listening and responding to your social media, not just Twitter, but it is tied to typically a Twitter ID. But it's also reporting on other things, whatever they know about you. So that's your social media. You can put in a new one here by just doing create an account and go in here and say, I want to create a Instagram, for instance, put in the name of your Instagram and then put the URL here. To avoid problems, cut and paste it into the URL field. Number one issue we get is people who actually type in things that are not actually valid URLs. In your blog tab, as you're looking at a blogger companies, when you look at the blog tab, what you expect to see is how they're tagged, what kind of things their blog is about, and then if they've given us their Google Analytics, we will actually display the Google Analytics information here. And now this is a little out of date here, but in the production service, it would have my latest stats. If they have a podcast, you can also do podcast stats in here. Those are self-reported, while these are coming directly from Google. In the Google Analytics, we report page views, visits, time on site per visit, and then also the top 10 countries that the traffic comes from for that particular blog, and then the percentage of the traffic that is coming from those countries. Bloggers, if you want to add your Google Analytics, you will have a button down here that says Authorize Google Analytics. Click that button, follow the directions. Do that not from the tbex.bloggerbridge.com, but from bloggerbridge.com. It'll work more easily. You can have, as you see here, multiple different blogs on different topics with different analytics. If you own multiple blogs, go ahead and put those in there. Schedule is something that's going to be a little less applicable to the TBEX speed networking event, but bloggers, you can also put in your information about where you are traveling to in this, and that's going to be useful more outside of TBEX. So BloggerBridge is used not just the 2 days a year that we do speed networking, but 365 days a year by a number of companies. We've got right now, for instance, companies like Visit Britain, Visit Belgium, Air Berlin, J-Way Travel, Bliss Travel, and a number of other tour companies and some DMOs, Grand Rapids and such, that are in the system, and they're looking for where bloggers are going. And Context Travel, for instance, if you schedule a trip to a given city that happens to be one of the 10 they're watching, may offer you, would you like to come on one of our tours in exchange for a blog post. So that's why you put in your schedule. A little less applicable here for speed networking. But for companies, that's something you can look for, and also we'll show you how you can use that for search later on. Examples. So this is an optional page. You can create an examples page, and this page can show the best examples of your work. The categories in here are completely up to you, bloggers. And so I might have articles and audio and awards, but somebody else may have recipes and trip reports and hotel reviews. You go down here and you say, I want to add a new web page, and then what the category is for that web page, the title, the URL, and a description, and those show up here as the category, the title, the URL below it, and then the description. And so go ahead and try that out. Fill out some good articles that show the examples of your work for a well-filled out profile.
And Chris, I have a
so
question.
That's
Oops, sorry.
Absolutely. Carrie, shoot.
Question is, if you already have a BloggerBridge account from a previous year, will it work for TBEX Europe?
Yep. Well, yes and no. So if you went and made sure that you registered for TBEX with the same URL that you've already used in BloggerBridge, either in previous years at TBEX or that you've registered separately, not a problem. Everything's all cool. If you registered for TBEX with a different URL, ping me and we'll fix that. Best way to ping me, go down here to Contact BloggerBridge. If I'm online, you can chat with me right there. If I'm not, as is going on here, you can give me your information and I can fix it and get back to you. So yes, you can absolutely reuse the information. You don't have to re-enter your profile again, but you do have to remember to always use a consistent email so that we know you are you. Any other questions on this before we go back now to what the companies are going to be doing? So that is sort of the profiles that we're looking for, but now that we know what they look like, let's see what companies are going to be looking at when they go to search here. So again, to get to your TBEX, go here to the upper left-hand corner. If you do not have a TBEX tab when you go to tbex.bloggerbridge.com, if you don't see TBEX Europe 2016, then we don't think you are registered for TBEX yet. If you just registered, again, you may need to wait a couple days until we get that updated. If you have registered more than a week ago and you don't see that, or if you're a company and you don't see that, if you're a company, please contact TBEX and we'll see what's going on there. It could be that your check didn't clear yet or something is going on. Carrie or Patty will fix that for you. If you're a blogger and it's been a little while, then ping me and we'll double check. It's probably that you're using the wrong email, odds are. Again, both the blogger side and the company side, you click TBEX Europe 2016 to get to the latest one. For a company, what you're going to go in here, and you're going to say, and by the way, as a company, if you're not a premium company, a lot of these other tabs that I have up here are going to be grayed out because they are not functions you need for speed networking, nor are they functions that you have access to. Anything other than this tab here is for premium accounts of Blogger Bridge. Premium accounts can search the entire database of bloggers, can put in location searches so that when somebody goes to Paris, they get notified, for instance, can notify bloggers of opportunities in the system of we're doing a fam trip, or if you come to Paris, we'd love to give you a Metro Pass, or we're looking for bloggers to write about such and such. All of those, you can list those if you have a premium account. You can also create lists of bloggers, track projects with bloggers. You still should be able to see this. You can keep notes on bloggers whether or not you have a paid account. If you have a speed networking account, you can keep notes on specific bloggers. But then campaign tracking again, you can track how many for articles that were written about people, for instance, that you are working with, bloggers you are working with. That is not something that you can use for speed networking. Speed networking, just this one tab. I go down here, I can see my schedule, and then I can also go in here and I can search for travel bloggers. Let's do some basic searches. So if I am a company that is doing, let's say I'm doing adventure travel, I can go in here and I can say, for TBEX, when I'm in the TBEX speed networking search, all of these are travel topics. Again, if I had a premium version and I was doing this search tab, I'd be searching the whole database and I would have other topics that are not just travel related. But for TBEX, you can only search travel topics. So I'm looking for adventure travel. I'm looking for adventure travel bloggers who will meet with companies at TBEX, and I'm not going to search for anything else here. Just to start with, I can say, and I want to sort that by monthly page views, and I can go in here. Well, let's do monthly podcast downloads. That's a weird one. That's going to find me probably. Oh wow! Hey, okay. There are more podcasters coming than I thought. Sure, Larissa does a podcast about travel writing. So that's a way to do a search. You can then take this search and you can sort it, for instance, by social media followers. And then that's going to do a different search. Again, we're still searching for adventure travel bloggers who will meet with companies at TBEX, but now I've done a different sort here and I found them by social media followers, and it's sorting by the total number of social media followers over here. I can sort by page views, by how many people have a lot of Instagram followers, and so if I do that, I can find a different set of people in here as well. I don't have the full database of people coming to the event loaded, so you'll see the same people kind of over and over in this particular case. Again, I'm specifically looking for venture. If I was looking for everybody and I look for people with Instagram followers, I'm going to find a different set of people because I did a different search. So up here is the search, down here is the ordering, this is the sort. Okay, so I can also filter here, and I know that I'm looking for a specific person. Let me go. So the other thing to know is all of these add. So if I say I'm looking for adventure, and then I also say I'm looking for a bio that contains kayaking, I can go in here and look for specifically who in their bio. Nobody says kayaking. How about scuba? How about if I get rid of adventure here? Since I didn't see that many people who had tagged their blog with adventure yet. No, we still don't have a lot of people who have, for this particular event, who have put in their things in their bio. This is why you put things in your bio, people. So I'm going to look for podcast, for instance, because I know somebody who has that in there. So it's a way of sorting through specifically for things, and that's why you put things in your bio. So I can also look here for a specific blog or specific name, or I can look for blogs that contain the word nomad. Now notice here that I'm going to get a blank filter because I still had on here the word nomad, and I was also searching for what the other thing was. Hang on a second. if I want to clear up my search, just click travel bloggers again, and I go back to nothing is selected. So now if I say I'm looking for, let's see, Nomad. Do we have anybody named Nomad coming in to the conference? Oh, not the name, the blog name. It's usually a good blog name for somebody. Yeah, okay. So I've got at least 3 different blogs that have the term Nomad in them. So if I think I remember somebody's specific blog name, I can do that. Also language. What are they blogging in? And back here, I didn't mention it, but when you are going into your profile, bloggers, and you go to your blogs, especially for the Europe event and the Asia event, make sure you go down here, and when you edit your blog, say what languages you blog in. That's going to be important because there are definitely going to be some companies that are specifically looking for non-English blogs. A lot of people are going to be blogging in English. If you blog in French, you're going to want to put that in there because you're going to stand out. The other thing I should say is for blogs, when we were talking about adventure, the way I edit this over here, bloggers, is I go down here to edit tags, and that's going to wait a little while, bring up a whole list of site topics. Click over here. You can see that through the tbex.bloggerbridge.com, you can only select travel. If you edit your blog through bloggerbridge.com, you can select a larger set of tags. You can only do up to 20 tags total, and that applies to 20 tags in either interface. So I have said I talk, for instance, about adventure. That's why I showed up in that search we did over there on adventure.
Yes, I've got a couple more questions. Yeah, sorry.
Yep. I hear you speaking.
A couple questions regarding activation. So, well, first of all, they're saying you mentioned that you would see the TBEX Europe 2016 tab at the top of Blogger Bridge when you access. Right, yeah, so that will be it will be live though. The second part of that question for anyone that's a sponsor, we have scheduled the 15th of this month to go live, so it's typically available 30 days out, and you will be getting communication directly from TBEX to activate your account or when your accounts are activated.
Good, and thanks for that because I didn't know the date for that yet. So
sorry. Let me see.
Was that both questions?
Let me see. Premium. Well, I went back to talk about this. They wanted to know, as from a sponsor perspective, if the premium account of Blogger Bridge is available in the silver package. No, it's not available at this point, but I did tell them that I could send them some information or contact you directly about getting premium access post-event.
Yeah, contact me directly. We'll send you more information too after the conference, but yeah, it is separate because TBEX and Blogger Bridge are separate companies. It is not currently as part of your speed networking purchasing of a table. So it has been in the past, but that isn't the case this year. So location searches. So as a company, I can say I'm looking for somebody in a particular country. So if I say, for instance, that I'm looking for bloggers in Germany, then this is specifically using people who have registered and say my home base is specifically Germany. Okay, so I found 3 bloggers there. That's different from, I should point out, that I'm looking for over here a blogger who is near a city. So if I say Berlin, Germany, actually I'd probably just say Berlin, then I'm looking for people within 50 kilometers of Berlin. So I don't find anybody there because we didn't have anybody. So how about if I say, I'm not sure who's coming to the conference, New York City.
I've got another question too, Chris.
Yeah, just a second. So you can see here that I found 3 different bloggers who were going to be or who are within 50 kilometers of New York City. These 2 are in Brooklyn, which is within 50 kilometers of New York. And Betsy it found, even though she says she is a nomad. And the reason it found Betsy is if we go to Betsy's schedule, we should see that she has, I'm going to have to look at that. I'm not sure what's going on there. She's not supposed to show up there. That should be that she's got a trip scheduled to New York City. So I'm going to have to see what's going on there. But that's what the location search is for. Go ahead, Carrie.
Okay, sorry, I was going to another one. Let me go back really quick. So if you have a translation plugin in your blog and offer all languages, what can you do?
Uh, it's a judgment call. You could say your blog is in multiple languages. I don't really think I would count that because it's not the same as saying I blog in French. And a company looking for French bloggers is not looking for people who have an English blog that is doing automatic translation to French. It's not the same thing. I would not do that. I would not say you blog in any other language other than your home language, because it's not the same. Now, you can tell when something's automatically translated, and that's not what companies are looking for when they're looking for that. Social media. So I can also say, as I do a search here, I can filter this search based on a minimum number of page views. Again, this requires that the blogger have Google Analytics in the system turned on in their system. And then also I can look for a minimum domain authority. Domain authority is a ranking of how good a blog is as far as providing SEO value, as far as how strong the links are from that blog, is an estimate that comes from a group called Moz.com, and it is a scale of 1 to 100. 100 is going to be actually would be, let's see right now, the people who are signed up. Actually, I'll make sure that that's because I'm also still doing New York City. Sorry, again, the way you clear that, you go up here to travel bloggers, make sure you do that. So now let me try that again and say not just people who will be passing through New York, but people with 10,000 Instagram followers. And I should find more than just Betsy. Yes, there we go. Okay. Places, again, are just tags in the system, so I can also say people who blog about if they have tagged their blog specifically as blogging about that. You may have noticed that when I went over here and I looked at tags, there's also tags specifically for places, just at the country level, typically at this point. So if I have a blog that is about France, I would want to go down here and say specifically I have a blog, not that I'm in France, but that I'm blogging about France. All right, so now let's actually make an appointment. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say I'm looking for people who have, let me reset my, again, I'm looking for people who have a whole lot of, let's just say monthly podcast downloads, because I know how I'm going to find them. So I'm going to click on the URL here of this good-looking guy here, and I'm going to schedule an appointment. So once I find somebody that I want to schedule an appointment with, I can go over here and I can click the invite. I can also click the message. Message is going to send this blogger a message. They're going to get it in their email. You're not going to see their email, but we're going to send it in an email. These are the two buttons you should be. I don't think you'll have this one unless you're a premium user. You also do have some other buttons. I have some other buttons here. I can send a canned message to someone by going in here to messages and saying I want to set up some templates. So for instance, I might set up a no thanks template that says, hey, I looked at your blog and it doesn't really look like it's a fit for what we're doing right now, and then has some other text. And so if I get an invitation from somebody and I want to send them some information, I can very quickly do that with a canned message like this, with a message template. But if I go back here to this particular user who's on, and I want to do an invitation, I just do invite. Bloggers can invite companies, companies can invite bloggers. Bloggers cannot invite other bloggers, companies cannot invite other companies, and pro users, so people who are industry professionals but who have not registered a table, they have not purchased a table for speed networking, cannot participate in speed networking, not on either side of the table. You have to be a company who has purchased a table to sit on one side of the table. You have to be a blogger to sit on the other side of the table. So how that looks over here as the blogger is I'm now going to get both an email and in my invitations received, I'm going to see I have an invitation from Blogger Bridge. Whoever receives the invitation schedules the appointment. So if I accept this, I'm going to be given a schedule that shows the matches between my schedule and the company. Now, a company can go in here in their schedule and say, I might have other things in here as well, or I can also say, by the way, we're going to do some private meetings here at 4 o'clock until 4:30, so don't make those available. And if I did that, then the blogger, when they brought up their schedule, would not get those times as available. Or similarly, if those times had other appointments scheduled. The other thing we should say is, if you're a company and you're coming with 2 people or more, you can add a chair in here, and this basically says, I want to do 2 different appointments at the same time. One of the people is going to be talking to one person, and one is going to be talking to someone else. If you have 2 chairs and you need to cancel, let's say, for instance, I have both these chairs, but then on Saturday somebody has to go home early, I can remove that chair as long as there are not 2 appointments in any one of these slots. If there are 2 appointments already in one of those slots, I have to go and cancel one so that the schedule can collapse, and then I can remove the chair because, that person has gone home early. Questions on that? The way that looks, well, let me pause.
I have.
Take a breath.
I'll give you a couple questions from this side. Is there a Blogger Bridge app that would act as a diary for appointments and show incoming messages?
Is there a Blogger Bridge app? No. The Blogger Bridge website is, it does have a responsive theme, so it will work on a smartphone. It needs a little tweaking, but it will work on a smartphone. So I'm usually carrying my smartphone around when I'm walking from appointment to appointment and looking at my schedule on Blogger Bridge, but via the website. And I saw that everybody else seemed to be doing that. You can also you can also print out your schedule as a company, I should say. When you print out your schedule, which is down here, I can get a print version of any particular chair. Then what I'm going to get is a version that shows, did I do the one with me? Hang on a second. Oh, sorry. Let me choose a time. So now I've scheduled an appointment with Blogger Bridge. So I see Blogger Bridge on my schedule, and Blogger Bridge sees me on their schedule. Then you can see when I look at a printed version of this, I'm actually going to get a little more information about the person as well as their face, which is, so as a company, it's useful to print out, the sheets for who you're going to be meeting with. And then for one thing, the bloggers can come up and say, oh, I see my picture over on the left-hand side. I'll sit down in that chair, and they know who they're meeting with. But no, there's no app at this time. Was there another question there, Carrie?
I have a couple more. Can bloggers add a chair?
No. Bloggers can only talk to one company at a time. Now, if you're a couple that are coming and you're both registered, then you both have Blogger Bridge accounts for the speed networking at least, and so you can either choose to only use one person's schedule and meet together, or you can choose to divide and conquer and set up 2 schedules. But no, you cannot meet with 2 companies at the same time. That would be weird. Anything else?
Looks like all I've got so far.
Okay, let me do just a quick, is there anything I've missed in speed networking? I think that's what we need to say, Carrie, isn't it?
No, I think looks like you've touched on everything.
Okay. Just a quick, let me give you a quick update. One thing we didn't talk about was notes. So if I go to a blogger's profile, we didn't do this earlier, there's 2 things I didn't show you. And I can click on the link in my schedule and see their profile again. One is I can keep notes on a blogger, and these are going to be kept on a company basis. So companies can keep notes on bloggers, bloggers cannot. And basically you can keep information about this blogger. So we found that some companies are doing this, especially if they have a premium version, then they can go and access these later on. And in fact, if they have a list of bloggers, we will keep the notes on that list as well, and I'll show you what that looks like. Excuse me, but you can also look at reviews. Some bloggers will have reviews. We don't have a lot of reviews in the system right now, but basically when you have worked with a blogger, you can review them. We're assuming that on average, a review of a blogger is average, which is not a bad thing. They met expectations. I would work with the person again. Everything went just like I thought it would, no problems. Obviously, a lower review is there are some issues, and a higher review is I would adopt this person if they're available for adoption. So, and then you can put reviews of bloggers you have worked with in the system, and you can also, in this tab, see if they have reviews. When you do a search, we will show you a number of stars if there are reviews for that blogger. Let me show you quickly just what you would get in the premium version. Basically, I'd get the same sort of search, except that this would now have a variety of topics that are not just travel related. Let me go here. Sorry, I'm still filtered by the TBEX version, so I'm changing. And then this is something that is going to apparently can't type and talk at the same time, which is interesting. Something good to know about yourself. If I go to the regular version, oh, that's not it. It's Pro version. Sorry, I've got 4 different accounts in the Blogger Bridge, depending on what role I'm wearing. So as I go in here as a regular premium company, I can search for bloggers on a variety of topics, not just on travel, because we have more than just travel bloggers in the system. All of these look pretty much the same, except I can also look for a particular date and a location. So if I'm doing a meeting in New York City, for instance, on July 9th, I can see who's going to be in New York City on the 9th and do that sort of search, which we don't do for the TBEX version of that or for the speed networking version of that. And again, that's finding people who are in Queens and Brooklyn and sometimes people who are passing through as well. And then also I can create an opportunity. I can basically say I want to create a new opportunity and I want to have bloggers know that this is how I want to work with them. I can either have them reply directly to me with the messaging feature, or I can do an interesting thing, which is a one-click apply. When we do things like fam trips that get as many as 210 different people responding in a week saying they're interested, we can do a one-click sort by different characteristics. I can also go in here and I can take a particular opportunity and I can make it visible only to certain bloggers. So this specific blogger opportunity right now is only being shown to bloggers with Twitter followers of 1 million because I'm just really trying to hide it. But I can go in here and I can say, I want to offer an opportunity to bloggers who do something or who blog about something or who have this much traffic or this many social media followers or whatever, or who are just men or just women or started at a certain time or are this age, and then offer that opportunity, and only bloggers who qualify for that opportunity will have it show up. This is also bloggers why things like if you don't have your Google Analytics in the system or if you haven't filled out your social media followings, you will not see as many opportunities as you could. And opportunities are listed here in the Opportunities tab for bloggers. This is the way they show. Oops, sorry, that's not the real Blogger Bridge. Hang on. As a blogger, I'm going to go over here and see. And this is something you can do even if you're just signed up for TBEX, a blogger. You can still see all the opportunities in the system right now. You would not see all these opportunities if you don't have a filled out profile or if you don't have the appropriate numbers. This is the opportunities available to me, not the opportunities available in general. You can also create lists of bloggers, so I can create a list of bloggers. As we said, the one-click apply will put all the bloggers in a list, but I can also create a series of bloggers like bloggers that I'm working with on a particular project. And then I can create a campaign for that, and then campaigns basically let me keep track of the different blog posts that I've had for that campaign and how many different page views they've gotten. It's very easy once you added a particular user to a campaign, they can go in here and they can just very quickly give us the URL for something. They've given us their Google Analytics already. We will track these page views. We will also track them over time, and so it makes it simple to track what's going on. There's also a project management feature with templates and workflows, but I won't get into that right now. Let me show you one last thing, and then we'll call this done. We'll answer any questions, and that's the location searches, which I mentioned. So I, for instance, have set up a location search. Tell me when any blogger schedules a trip to San Francisco or within 50 kilometers, and I will get an email when that happens. I can also, again, like the other one, add a filter so that I only see certain bloggers or certain types of bloggers. So if I had a restaurant, for instance, in San Francisco that was looking for food bloggers, they could put in a location search there and limit it to food bloggers, and then be notified when any food bloggers come to the system, come to schedule a trip, and when they do, they could reach out and say, hey, we'd love to have you over to our restaurant. Are there any other questions about Blogger Bridge in general, or about more specifically speed networking? Let's do speed networking first.
Can the blogger review a company?
No.
Once meetings are set up, we'll be able to hold a day of our own meetings at the table. So question is kind of, yeah, so the question's kind of vague. Where the table is and where there's enough time for one or more meetings. Their tables are all in proximity to each other. It's one general room, so it's fairly easy to get between where the tables are and the appointments will be set.
Yeah. So there's 2 minutes to get between so it's 8 minutes of meetings, 2 minutes in between, and that's enough time to get from any table to any other table. Now, we do encourage people to be prompt to leave at the appropriate time. It is rude not to, but as long as people are paying attention to the announcements, that is not a problem.
The other thing, part of this question you're asking, so from the company side, your table number will be assigned. Our intent is when we launch, but depending on when you populate into the system, it could be within a week out. You will have a table designation and a number already preset. When you arrive on show site, we will have a map and we will show you where you will be setting up at. And then for the attendee side, we will also have a kind of a grid, so you'll be able to see all the table numbers and the companies that are affiliated with the table numbers, kind of a site map, so you'll know where to go and how to get to your meetings.
The one thing we should say for bloggers is if you're getting started, you may not get any appointments at Speed Networking because we have specifically given the tools to the companies to choose who they meet with. We do not encourage them to just take the first people that send them an invitation, but to choose and to try and have the best set of meetings. But there will be other times to meet with the companies outside of the speed networking time, and some companies actually will not schedule appointments. They'll just be open to meeting with anybody. Most companies will schedule appointments. If they have an appointment during speed networking, that takes precedence. If they don't, you're welcome to sit down. But again, there will be hours, many hours outside of speed networking where you will find people at the tables and get a chance to talk to them, even if you're just getting started. But think about what it is you want to pitch, what makes you different, and don't just walk up and say, I want a free trip. That's the surest way to fail. Think about what you are going to provide the company. That's what you're pitching, is you're pitching why they should work with you instead of the hundreds of other bloggers who are coming.
The next one is, and I think you might have touched on this after it came through, but do you get notified by email if there are meeting requests sent?
Yes. Yep, you'll get an email every time there's an invitation received, every time your invitation is accepted or declined, or if somebody sends you a message, you'll get an email. The only thing we won't send you an email for bloggers. Oh, I didn't show you bloggers. You'll set your schedules by going over here to companies, and you'll get a list of companies, and you'll just say, I want to send an invitation to visit Dublin. So it's as a blogger. You can also look for other bloggers who maybe blog about the same subject. You can't set appointments with them, but you can send them a message and say, hey, can we meet in the hallway, or go to lunch or something like that. Not for speed networking, but for the conference. Conference only. That will turn off right after the conference.
Chris, can you just review in bullet points one last time from the company side what the sponsors will be able to access in the search function?
Sure. So in the search function, let's go back in here. Let's see, it's show beats tell. Oh, sorry, I logged in the wrong login. Oh, that's why.
This is another good question. It says, do you suggest professional attire when meeting or casual attire? A casual attire is kind of common, but Chris?
Well, this is, if you've been to places like World Travel Market in London, TBEX tends to be more casual. I would not suggest jeans. I would not suggest cutoffs and a T-shirt that says "I'm with stupid." I'll tell you what I'll be wearing, which will be either some travel pants or some jeans, but with a branded amateur traveler shirt, embroidered shirt. So you can pretty much count on that. So that's, I'd say, somewhere in the middle. There'll definitely be some people who will be wearing sport coats, but most people will not. I would suggest professional behavior.
Yes, yes. So the next question
So
will be,
going back to your question on search.
sorry, go ahead.
When I go to the travel blog, I can search for specific keywords in the bio, like if I have a specific thing like kayaking that I'm looking for. I can search for specific activities that bloggers do. Again, bloggers, this is in your products list. I can search for specific topics like family versus LGBT versus photography. I can search for specific people by name or email. I can also search for people of a specific starting, how long they've been blogging, a specific gender, as well as a specific blog name and URL if I know somebody or their blog is about something, a specific language of the blog, where they're from, where they're going to be, what their traffic is, minimums only, not maximums. And again, their social media followers, minimums again, not maximums, or if they blog about a given place. Those are all the things I can search bar. I can sort by different things like domain authority, Alexa rank, monthly page views, monthly podcast downloads, monthly traffic, social followers, Twitter followers, Facebook, Google+, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Clout scores, and year started blogging. Also by first name, last name, city, those sort of things. Does that help?
Perfect. Yes. They noticed the QR code on your profile. Can you talk a little bit about that? Is it something they need to create or it's already created in the system?
It's something that I will create for you, and it's a QR code that goes to your blog. Not something the bloggers need to do. Goes to your primary blog. Put your blogs in order. Your first blog is your primary blog. That is your most important one.
Next question, when will the list be available for brands? The same time as everybody else, so our target date to open is June 15th.
Yeah, we turn on both sides at the same time because otherwise it doesn't work. So we'll give you a month, basically. Just so you know, expectations, some companies will jump in right away. They will get all the good appointments. Some companies will wander in cluelessly the day of saying, were they supposed to do something about this? And what do you mean there was a webinar? So, so if you send somebody an invitation, you may not hear back. You may never hear back. There are definitely some companies that will receive invitations, but they actually won't set up appointments. Most of the companies will be doing their, I would say, probably by a week before most companies will be done doing most of their appointments. You should say that's about right, Carrie?
Yes, that's correct.
And definitely, some companies will be very popular and will fill up right away. Some bloggers will be very popular and will fill up right away. Anything else? Or should we let people go? How about we let people go, we stop the recording, and we thank people for coming, and then I'll stick around here for a few more minutes if there's any more questions. Thanks so much for coming. I look forward to see you all in Stockholm. Look forward to being in Stockholm so that we can see you all. And thanks so much for coming today. Okay, I am not recording, but I will stick around here. Did we have we answered all the questions so far, Carrie? You are welcome, Roma.
Yes. Let me just scroll up here. Can
And
your
Jill, you're
Instagram
welcome.
page
Will
be
you
a
still answer my
primary?
questions? I would be glad to answer your questions, Lu Yan. I'll stick around.
There are some more coming in. Can your Instagram page be your primary blog?
No. Blogs are blogs. You can have Instagram pages. You don't require to have a blog, but Instagram pages are not blogs.
Do you have a recommendation for couples where it talks about gender, because you're asked for gender in their profile? What do they do if they're
Yeah, we
blogging
recommend that you have one. You will have, with your recommendation, one login per person. You can choose to say that you are speed networking together, but you will get one per person, and that's why you only have one gender. We prefer you have only one gender per person.
That's the last of the questions on this side.
Okay. I'll stick around for a little bit from Matthias. One question, I missed the beginning. So when we get an email notification on the 15th to activate our profile, we cannot log in before. No, you can log in before that. In fact, I'll upload the latest set of 400 different blogger registrations that I've got, the first batch. I've either already done it or I will do it in the next few minutes. So as a blogger, you can log in. Give me 15 minutes and then you should be able to log in and straighten all of that. You will not have a TBEX Europe 216 tab until the 15th, so you can't schedule any appointments yet. And Isabella, there will be help again. Remember, down here, lower left-hand corner, contact Blogger Bridge. You can always get help that way. It's the easiest way. If I'm online and chat, it'll just go directly to me, or it'll send me an email. And then we will post. Carrie, I think you will post the recording of this someplace.
I will. There's going to be a follow-up email from the system from GoToWebinar, and I will include it there.
Yep. And can you see the list of brands before the 15th? No, Roma. Unfortunately not.
I can
you can see the list of sponsors on the website. That's the only place you'll see them. But what you'll find typically is some sponsors. I know in Mexico we had 2 sponsors sign up the morning of speed networking. So the final list, it really won't be. We've had people sign up only the second day because they didn't catch on the first day. So the final list really won't be final until the conference is over, but as soon as the 15th, you'll be able to see the first set of lists. And my guess is that'll be about 2/3 typically, wouldn't you say, Carrie, that will be up there on the 15th, and then more will come later.
That sounds about right, yes.
Looking forward to seeing you, Chanel. Glad you're coming to your first event. Who can see my year of birth? Well, Jill, if you don't put in your year of birth, no one can see your year of birth. If you're that sensitive to it or in denial, just don't put it in. We don't know it. We won't tell. The TBEX website. Was your question, Roma, where is the TBEX website? tbexcon.com. Okay. I think that's good. Going once for questions, going twice. Great, thank you all for coming. I'll shut this down and we'll see you in Stockholm. Again, if you want me, remember contact Blogger Bridge, lower left-hand corner. Bye-bye.